Have you ever dealt with someone who could lie, betray, manipulate, gossip, hurt your feelings, create chaos, and somehow still end up acting like you did something to them? And I'm looking at my notes too when I glance away. I mean, honestly, someone who could never say, I was wrong, or never say, I handled that badly, or never say, I owe you an apology, because they're not accountable. That part. Because in their version of reality, they're misunderstood, they're attacked, and they're unfairly judged. Always. Even when they lit the match to start the fire. Even when they lit the match. That kind of emotional shape-shifting will have you questioning your sanity if you're not careful. Because you're like, what? Because you start out trying to have, an actual conversation and somehow end up comforting the person who hurts you. You end up comforting them. If that sounds familiar, then welcome back to our ABCs of toxic friendships and relationships. And today, guess what? We are on the letter V today. The letter V. We are so close to the end of this series. Oh my goodness. And the letter V today is for victim mentality. So grab a snack and come on back with Ma'am and I, and let's get into it. Hey, my beautiful souls. It's Lexi. And if this is your first time here, welcome. Around here, we believe in healing, truth, spiritual growth, emotional intelligence, and protecting our peace at all cost. At all cost. And if you've ever walked away from a conversation wondering, wait, how did I end up apologizing? How did that end up happening? This one is for you. Because victim mentality in toxic dynamics is very exhausting. It's very exhausting. Not because people don't deserve compassion, not because of that, but because compassion without accountability becomes manipulation. That part. So let's talk about it. What is victim mentality, you ask? Let me clear it up for you. Being hurt does not equal victim mentality. That doesn't equal victim mentality. Real pain does exist. Real betrayal, it exists. And real trauma also exists. This is not about people genuinely going through something. It's not about people who are genuinely going through something. No, it's not. This is about the person who makes victimhood their permanent address. They make victimhood their permanent address. This person who cannot function without being the injured party. They can't function without being the injured party. Because accountability, it threatens their identity, right? It threatens the identity that they've built. They've built this whole identity on being the victim, on this person lied on me, and that person did this to me, and that person's harassing me, and that person this, and that person that, and that person hasn't done a damn thing to them. Absolutely not. They're the one that lit the flame, right? But they're the victim. The victim. Accountability threatens. It threatens. And like we talked about, unaccountability, this goes hand in hand with that. This goes hand in hand with that. Victim mentality and not being accountable for your own shit. Not being accountable. And if they admit fault, the whole story will collapse. Because then they got to backtrack. Because they've already lied and said, that person did this to me and that person did that to me. And everybody's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry for you. I can't believe that happened. So they can't go back now and tell the truth because that'll make them look like Boo Boo the Fool. So they're not going to go back and tell the truth. They're going to let you look like the fool, right? They're going to let you look like the mean one in this whole thing when they're the one that started it in the first place. So the signs, right? Sign number one in this whole thing, they rewrite history. You remember what happened? They remember a movie version starring them as the innocent lead. Because you remember clearly what happened. They apparently do not. The facts, those are optional. The narrative, everything, right? Everything. They've changed the whole thing. Sign number two, accountability. It feels like an attack. It feels like an attack. You say, that hurt my feelings. And they hear, you're evil. And it's so true. Been there, done that. It's so true. It's so true what they hear. It's so true. Now, suddenly, you are defending your tone instead of discussing their behavior. You're defending yourself. Classic derailment. Classic derailment. Sign number three, they recruit sympathy, right? They go, they change the narrative. However they do it, they tell a different story. They make a video that they later delete, by the way, because they know it's a bunch of bullshit. They do all of that, right? Flying monkeys, mutual friends, family, online audiences, anybody willing to co-sign the bullshit and the performance, which so many of you here, sadly, are so easily led. So easily led. You're so dumb. You're so dumb, beloved. Anybody willing to co-sign the performance? Because, if enough people validate their story, then maybe accountability disappears. See, when people feel sorry for them and, ooh, they did this to you and they did that to you and how dare they and blah, blah, blah. And then the people who actually know that it's a bunch of bullshit don't stand up and don't say, no, you're wrong. The people who witnessed it and who were there when it happened, they don't say anything. They just go skulking off with their tail between their legs and they don't stand up to this person because they're scared of this person, right? They don't want nothing to do with it. So they're scared of them. So just let them be the victim. But at what cost? At the cost of somebody else losing relationships. If you're a social media content creator or anything, losing subscribers or losing followers, all because one person got up, couldn't put their big girl or boy panties on and told a lie. A bold-faced lie. But then they got rid of all the evidence. They got rid of it. So, you're like, well, they said that, but there's no proof. But no, okay, I guess that's what happened. They confuse, this is sign number 4. They confuse consequences with cruelty. You created boundaries. Now you're mean, right? Because you created boundaries. You distance yourself from them. Now you abandoned them, okay? Or you ghosted them, they say. You stopped tolerating the bullshit. You stopped tolerating it. Now you're cold. No, beloved. That's called consequences. Consequences. Nobody has to put up with that bullshit. But if that's what you want to believe, then that's on you, honey. Do you? Do you? Sign number 5. Every apology, it has a but attached. I'm sorry, but. Translation, not sorry. If somebody comes to you and they says, I'm sorry, but they're not sorry, you don't even need to finish that sentence. You don't even need to finish the damn sentence. Don't finish it. Just go on about your business, because they are still not being accountable. They're not being accountable. And why they do it? Because victimhood can be protective. Victimhood can be protective, right? If I'm the victim, I don't have to change. I don't have to change. This is it. This is the scenario. If I'm the victim, I don't have to self-reflect. If I'm the victim, then everyone owes me emotional labor. And some people become deeply attached to that identity. They do. They do. Walking around telling people so-and-so lied on me, and so-and-so did this to me, and so-and-so, and nobody did a damn thing to you, beloved. They didn't. You created this story. You created this narrative. You created this whole scenario. You created the whole thing. Nobody did anything to you. You did it to yourself. You did it to yourself. And some people, they can't grow, right? They just can't grow. Growth requires discomfort. They don't want to be uncomfortable, so they're not going to grow. They're not. Victim mentality avoids that at all costs. Avoids it at all costs. And the cost to you, this is where it gets dangerous. Because loving people often over-explain. We always over-explain. Empaths, they over-accommodate. We do over-accommodate at times. Healers overgive. And suddenly, you're explaining. You're clarifying. You're apologizing for something that you didn't even do. You're shrinking yourself to make them feel good, right? And you're second-guessing yourself. There's no reason to. You know exactly what happened. Trying to fix a reality distortion field. A reality distortion field that you didn't create. And it's exhausting. It is exhausting. And the truth bomb to this whole thing, here it is. People committed to being victims cannot hear accountability as love. No, absolutely not. Because accountability requires that they own their bullshit. It requires ownership. It does. And ownership requires humility. And they don't have that. Humility requires emotional maturity, which they don't. Right? They don't. Not everybody has done that work. Not everybody has done that work. They would rather go ahead with this false narrative, the unaccountability, the lying, all of that, just to protect themselves from the BS, because they know they lied. They know they created this false narrative that has hurt somebody, that has put somebody in harm's way with hate raids and death threats and all of those things. They know that. They know that they shared false information with someone, and that person has led this whole brigade, which it has nothing to even do with this person, right? But they've done that to protect themselves. And then they're living in their lily white palace like, like everything's fine. Like everything's fine. But they have created this whole bunch of chaos. Chaos. And I want to just, be honest here, at this age, I no longer audition. I don't audition for the role of emotional caretaker. I do not. In someone else's self-created drama, absolutely not. I'm not your caretaker, beloved. And I'm not auditioning to be in your self-created drama. I absolutely am not. I am not your emotional caretaker. Absolutely not. No. No, ma'am, and no, sir. I can have compassion to your pain. I can. Without volunteering for your performance. Okay, I can understand that maybe you didn't like the tone of which the message was given. I can understand that. But to totally deny that you were doing something wrong when somebody said something to you and you know that you were doing something wrong and you don't want to take accountability, I can't get with that. I can't get with that at all. And the people who allow that and who condone that bullshit to me, you're all a bunch of dumb fucks. I just have to say it. I just have to say it. You really are. Because when this person keeps this pattern going, this is a pattern. And they're going to keep doing it and doing it. Next victim, doing it to the next victim and doing it to the next victim. And it's just going to keep going on. And people are going to be like, well, damn. Yeah, well, damn. They keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. And you fall for the okie doke every time. You fall for the okie doke every single time. Right? You fall for it every time. You know, like I said, we can have compassion. It's okay to have compassion for someone. It's okay. People are in pain, have compassion, of course. Of course. But without volunteering for your performance, it's a big difference. It's a big difference. A big difference. So tell me, have you ever dealt with someone who was always the victim? Because I have. Always the victim, no matter what, they are always the victim. It's always their story. They're always the victim. And you're like, the common denominator here, beloved, is you. Not the people around you, it's you. Look in the mirror, look at yourself. But they will never do that. They will never do that. Drop a heart, drop a black heart. Okay, drop a black heart in the comments if you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you know exactly what I mean. And if this helped you, as always, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs the reminder. Who needs the reminder. Because healing sometimes starts when we stop accepting distorted narratives. We have to stop accepting these distorted narratives. That's the only way it's going to stop. Because once everybody's like, yeah, no, the story's not adding up. You're saying this person did this to you, but where's your proof that this person did this to you? You don't have any. So what actually happened? You had to have done something, but you're not accountable. And people don't ask questions. So they will continue the victim mentality. They will continue. So, as always, you know that I love you plenty. You know that I mean what I say and I say what I mean, and I don't bite my tongue. I don't. You know that I see you. I truly do. I truly do. And that I'm so proud of you. And I'm proud of you for realizing when you watch these videos that, yeah, that happened to me. That person did that to me. Yes. Yeah. I'm proud of you because we can't let these behaviors keep going on. We can't let these toxic behaviors keep going on. We can't, beloved. We've got to make changes. We've got to make changes. So, from Little Sleeping Beauty and I, deuces, and we'll see you. The letter W is next. The letter W is next. I wonder what it's going to be. Tell me in the comments what you think it is. See you next time.